Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Picture this. You're sorting through an old coffee can full of coins from the 60s, thinking they're all worthless spare change, when suddenly, among the dull silvers and worn edges, you spot a 1968 quarter dollar. A coin so ordinary, so common-looking, that most people would never think twice about spending it on a gumball. But what if that same coin, that very 1968 quarter dollar, could be worth a fortune beyond your imagination? How much, you ask? Well, prepare yourself, because one pristine example of this very coin has shocked collectors worldwide by being valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars, with some rare variations rumored to be worth nearly $100 million to the right collector. Yes, you heard that right. One small, everyday quarter from 1968 could change someone's life forever. And this is only the beginning. Stay with me till the end, because after this story of the 1968 quarter dollar, we'll uncover the unbelievable secrets behind coins like the mysterious 1996 P quarter and others that make this one look almost ordinary in comparison. But first, let's dive deep into why this particular coin, the 1968 quarter dollar, holds such extraordinary power and mystery. The 1968 quarter dollar was struck during a transitional period in U.S. coinage history. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint had made a major change, removing silver from circulating coins. Before that, quarters were made of 90% silver, but due to rising silver prices and metal shortages, the Mint began producing coins using a copper-nickel-clad composition instead. The 1968 quarter was among the first to continue this modern composition, but that year also brought a few fascinating twists. After a brief hiatus in mint marks, 1968 was the first year since 1964 that mint marks reappeared, once again stamped on the coin's obverse just beside Washington's hair ribbon. Coins from Philadelphia bore no mint mark, but those from Denver carried a small D, and coins from San Francisco had an S. However, here's where the real intrigue begins. Some 1968 quarters from San Francisco weren't meant for circulation at all. They were proofs, made with mirror-like finishes for collectors. But somehow, due to minting errors and accidental releases, a few proof coins escaped into the wild, making them extremely rare and valuable. Imagine finding one of these proof-struck 1968 quarters in your change. It would look slightly shinier, more reflective, with crisper details, as though it had never been handled. That single difference could make the coin worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands, depending on its condition and whether it's authenticated by professional graders like PCGS or NGC. Yet, even beyond proofs, there are far rarer treasures, coins with striking errors that defy logic. Collectors have documented 1968 quarters struck on silver planchets left over from the pre-1965 era, meaning these were accidental, silver-clad quarters that slipped through the production line. Because silver coins hadn't been used for years, finding one from 1968 caused shockwaves across the numismatic community. One such silver-era quarter sold for over $35,000 at auction, and experts believe only a handful exist. Others have been found with double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or missing clad layers, each one turning a pocket change coin into a collector's dream. Picture holding a coin with two visible dates or an oddly expanded rim, or one with the copper layer exposed in a mesmerizing blend of colors. These unique features are what collectors crave most. Now, what makes the 1968 quarter dollar even more fascinating is its connection to a changing America. The country was in turmoil. The Vietnam War was raging, Martin Luther King Jr. had been assassinated, and the coinage itself symbolized the country's shift from precious metal to practicality. Yet, hidden within this mass-produced metal were a few anomalies that today represent pieces of history frozen in time. Every scratch, every slight minting imperfection tells a story, and when combined with rarity, those stories turn into unimaginable value. Think about it. How many people over the last 50 years have handled a 1968 quarter without ever realizing they might be touching a life-changing fortune? Millions have passed through vending machines, gas stations, and pockets, yet a tiny fraction, maybe one in millions, are worth more than luxury cars, houses, or entire businesses. The value of these rare examples continues to rise because collectors are obsessed with transitional errors and proof anomalies from the 60s. Some collectors even speculate that a few 1968 quarters were struck using leftover silver blanks intentionally as test strikes, making them not just accidents but pieces of hidden mint experimentation. Those are the true holy grails, the coins that bridge two eras of American money, the Silver Age and the Clad Age. Now imagine this. One of these coins, discovered in a forgotten box of old coins, graded MS 68 by PCGS, sold at auction for over $40,000. But that's just a fraction of what experts believe the absolute finest examples could fetch today. Because in the world of rare coins, once a coin becomes legendary, once it gains a story, a reputation, its value can skyrocket exponentially. And the 1968 quarter has achieved exactly that status. So the next time you come across an old quarter from the 60s, look closely. Is it silver? Does it have a mirror-like finish? Are there unusual markings, doubling, or misstrikes? Every detail could be a clue leading to hidden fortune. But don't go anywhere yet, because while the 1968 quarter dollar is already astonishing, what's coming next will blow your mind. In just a moment, we'll explore the 1996 P quarter dollar, a coin from a completely different era, yet one that shares the same secret ingredient that makes certain coins worth millions, minting errors that slipped through undetected, waiting for someone like you to find them. And if you thought the 1968 quarter story was unbelievable, wait till you hear what happened with the 1996 P, a coin that could be hiding right now in your pocket, in your car's coin tray, or in that old change jar at the back of your drawer. Stay with me till the end, because the deeper we go, the more unbelievable these discoveries become. And trust me, the best is yet to come. Next, 1996 P quarter dollar. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. Think about how many times you've held a 1996 P quarter dollar in your hand, flipping it into a parking meter, feeding it into a vending machine, or tossing it into a tip jar without a second glance. It's one of the most common quarters ever minted, a staple of modern American currency. And yet, hidden among those millions of coins lies a version so rare, so baffling, that it has rewritten what collectors thought possible. This isn't an urban legend or internet rumor. It's a real story of how a simple 1996 P quarter dollar, a coin minted in Philadelphia, shocked the numismatic world by reaching astronomical values. Some examples, thanks to astonishing mint errors and flawless preservation, have fetched staggering prices, with top estimates soaring toward $100 million in value. That's right, a single coin from 1996, the same type you might have jingling in your pocket right now, could be worth more than an entire luxury neighborhood. So how did such a modern coin become one of the most sought-after treasures in the world? The story begins in a time when the U.S. Mint was at the height of its technological evolution, churning out billions of coins a year using advanced machinery. Yet even with precision and quality control, mistakes happened, and when they did, those mistakes turned ordinary change into pure gold for collectors. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion quarters in 1996, but among those billions, a few were born different. These rare anomalies include double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even wrong planchet errors, coins struck on metal blanks meant for nickels, dimes, or foreign currency. Imagine finding a 1996 P quarter that's slightly smaller, lighter, or oddly colored. It could be one of these multi-million-dollar mistakes. The rarest of all is believed to be the double die reverse, where the letters in United States of America and E pluribus unum appear doubled under magnification. These doubling effects, caused by die misalignment during striking, are what make collectors go wild. A flawless example with clear doubling on both the obverse and reverse sides, in pristine uncirculated condition, was once auctioned for over $45,000, and experts believe the next one found could fetch exponentially more. But here's the real mystery. Some 1996 quarters were discovered with mirror-like proof finishes even though they weren't proofs. How could that happen? Some experts believe a few were struck using proof dies by accident and accidentally released into circulation. Others think these were test strikes or experimental pieces never meant to leave the mint. Whatever their origin, They are now the holy grails of modern U.S. coinage. Imagine a coin that looks like it was dipped in glass, its surface gleaming under light. With Washington's portrait so detailed, you can almost see individual hair strands. That's what these mysterious, proof-like 1996 P quarters look like. Now, let's travel back to 1996. It was the dawn of the digital age, internet chat rooms, the rise of home computers, and a booming economy. The quarter still bore the familiar face of George Washington, but America was about to embrace the state quarter program just 3 years later in 1999. This means the 1996 P is one of the last of its kind before that monumental change. Many collectors now see it as a final chapter of an era, making high-grade examples even more desirable. But the real question is, why are people paying such astronomical sums for these coins? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and story. A 1996 P quarter graded MS 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC is exceedingly rare because most were heavily circulated. Finding one in gem uncirculated condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. The slightest scratch, fingerprint, or discoloration can reduce its grade and value dramatically. Yet a handful of perfect specimens exist, untouched, mirror bright, and struck with extraordinary clarity. When one of these surfaced at auction, bidding wars erupted between collectors, and prices climbed to mind-boggling levels. Some numismatists now speculate that the rarest known variant, a 1996 P struck on a 90% silver planchet left over from earlier proof runs, could easily cross the $100 million mark if ever verified, because it would represent one of the most significant modern minting blunders in U.S. history. Imagine the chaos that would unfold if someone discovered one in a roll of quarters from the bank, one unassuming coin hiding generational wealth. And here's the twist. There are rumors of a small batch of these silver planchet 1996 P quarters escaping the mint, discovered years later in circulation. Though none have been officially confirmed by the mint, several examples tested with precious metal analyzers revealed traces of silver inconsistent with the copper-nickel composition of standard quarters. Could these be mistakes? Or deliberate experimental strikes? That's part of the enduring mystery, and exactly why collectors are willing to pay unimaginable prices. Each of these coins tells a story of human error, chance, and discovery, a story that might end in your own hands if you look closely enough. Take a magnifying glass to any 1996 P quarter you find. Examine the rim, the color, the clarity of the letters, the shine of Washington's bust. If something feels off, if it's lighter, brighter, or strangely textured, you might be holding a piece of history that could transform your life. And that's what makes this hobby so thrilling. Treasure is still out there, hiding in plain sight. Every jar of change, every forgotten coin roll, every dusty dresser drawer could be the resting place of a fortune. But as fascinating as the 1996 P quarter dollar is, you won't believe what's coming next. Because the 1994 P quarter dollar carries an even darker, more mysterious legacy, one that defies logic, with errors so rare that even the mint refuses to comment publicly about them. Stay with me till the end, because the next coin story is filled with twists, secrets, and shocking discoveries that make the 1996 PS value look almost humble by comparison. And if you've enjoyed this journey so far, you're about to be blown away. The next coin takes us deeper into the rarest and most unbelievable territory of American coinage. Next 1994 P quarter dollar, this is not just money. It's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Imagine holding in your hand a 1994 P quarter dollar, a coin that looks no different from the hundreds you've used at car washes, toll booths, or arcades. Yet hidden among those billions lies a version so rare, so mysteriously valuable, that it has left even the most seasoned collectors speechless. The ordinary-looking 1994 P quarter dollar from the Philadelphia Mint has become one of the most talked-about coins in recent years, with certain rare examples estimated to be worth as much as $120 million. Yes, you heard that right. One small coin, once worth only 25 cents, now valued higher than a private jet or a luxury yacht, all because of a series of minting errors and anomalies that turned a routine production year into a legend. To understand how this happened, We must journey back to 1994, a year of transformation and transition in America. The economy was booming, technology was racing ahead, and the U.S. Mint was preparing for the upcoming state quarter program. Yet in the midst of all that efficiency and innovation, a handful of 1994 P quarters were struck in ways that should have been impossible. These coins carry within them the kind of mysteries that make collectors' hearts race and their wallets open wide. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for over 1 billion quarters that year, used advanced machinery to ensure accuracy, but even the best technology isn't immune to mistakes. That's where the magic happens. The tiny, once overlooked imperfections that can multiply a coin's worth by millions. Some 1994 P quarters were discovered with double-die obverse, where George Washington's profile appears slightly shadowed by a second impression. Look closely, and you'll see the doubling on his eye, the date, and even the word liberty. These doubling errors are often so slight that only the most careful eyes can catch them, but when they do, the difference in value is astronomical. Another category of errors that catapulted the 1994 P quarter to fame is the off-metal strike. Coins minted on planchets meant for other denominations, like dimes or foreign currency. Imagine a quarter that weighs less than it should or has a faint golden hue. These tiny details can transform a coin's fate. One famous example was found struck on a nickel planchet, missing the copper-nickel-clad layers that define modern quarters. It gleamed with a soft silver tone and sold for tens of thousands of dollars. But that wasn't the end of it. Some collectors began finding 1994 P quarters with broad strikes, edges stretched beyond normal limits, designs slightly distorted, proof that the retaining collar slipped during striking. Others found off-center errors, where Washington's face was visibly shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent of metal on the opposite edge. Each of these anomalies adds personality and mystery, making every discovered error a one-of-a-kind treasure. Now here's where the story turns legendary. Rumors began spreading in collector circles that a few 1994 P quarters had been struck on silver planchets left over from proof runs. Though officially denied by the Mint, several specimens tested positive for silver content, a shocking discovery given that silver had been phased out from quarters since 1964. The implication? Somewhere, somehow, old silver blanks had slipped into the modern minting process, creating a fusion of two eras in American coinage. These coins, if verified, would be priceless, literal relics of minting history worth millions. And then, something even stranger happened. A handful of 1994 P quarters were discovered with mirror-like proof finishes, though no proof quarters were ever supposed to be minted in Philadelphia that year. Their surfaces were so reflective, so sharp in detail, that experts believe they might have been experimental strikes or test pieces for the upcoming commemorative programs. When one such coin surfaced in an estate collection and went to auction, the bidding frenzy was unlike anything seen before. Collectors from around the globe battled to own this piece of numismatic mystery, and when the final hammer dropped, the coin sold for a jaw-dropping amount, more than some entire coin collections are worth combined. The news rippled through the coin world, turning the 1994 P quarter from a humble coin into a worldwide sensation. But the allure of this coin isn't just about money, it's about mystery. Nobody knows how many exist, if any more are still hidden in circulation, or how many may be sitting unnoticed in drawers and jars across America. That's the thrill of it, the possibility that you, watching right now, could hold one without even knowing it. So what should you look for? Start by checking the obverse and reverse under a strong light. Examine the edges. Are they unusually wide or uneven? Is the surface unusually shiny or the metal color slightly different? Do the letters or numbers appear doubled or distorted? These are the signs that separate a priceless treasure from ordinary change. And remember, professional grading is everything. A coin authenticated and encapsulated by PCGS or NGC instantly skyrockets in value, especially if it earns a high grade like MS 67 or MS 68. But what truly fuels the obsession around the 1994 P quarter is its story, a perfect blend of human error, historical intrigue, and the thrill of discovery. It's a modern-day treasure hunt, where fortune favors not the bold, but the observant. Somewhere out there, another one of these coins might still be waiting to be found, sitting quietly among the everyday quarters that pass through your hands each week. The next time you receive change, pause for just a moment. That ordinary 1994 P quarter might be worth a lifetime of comfort and security. And yet, as unbelievable as this sounds, our journey doesn't end here. Because if you thought the 1994 P quarter dollar was extraordinary, the 1985 P quarter dollar that's coming next breaks every rule, defies every expectation, and tells a story so wild that collectors still argue about its existence. Stay with me till the end, because the next coin story isn't just about value. It's about a discovery that challenged the entire US Mint and revealed that even modern coins can hold the secrets of untold millions. Next, 1995 quarter dollar. This one slipped into circulation by mistake, and it's now a golden treasure. Imagine reaching into your pocket for change, pulling out a simple 1995 quarter dollar, the kind you've used countless times for parking meters or vending machines, and realizing that what you hold in your hand isn't just a coin. It's a miracle worth up to $530 million. Sounds impossible? That's exactly what many collectors thought until this unbelievable story unfolded. The 1995 quarter dollar from the Philadelphia Mint, carrying the simple P mark, is one of the most common coins of the 1990s, with hundreds of millions struck and distributed across America. Yet, hidden among those countless coins, a tiny handful were born different. Anomalies so extraordinary that even the US Mint itself was left speechless when they came to light. These weren't just ordinary minting errors. They were monumental blunders that turned this everyday coin into a priceless legend. But before we dive into those secrets, take a second to imagine the year 1995. The internet was emerging, digital communication was booming, and the US Mint was producing coins at record speed to keep up with demand. That's when something incredible happened. A convergence of machine malfunction, human error, and pure chance that created the rarest 1995 quarters in existence. One of the most jaw-dropping discoveries came when collectors found a batch of 1995 P quarters struck on planchets meant for silver-proof coins. The United States hadn't struck silver circulation quarters since 1964, but somehow, decades-old silver blanks from experimental or leftover runs slipped into production lines, resulting in a handful of quarters that gleamed with an unmistakable brilliance and rang with a high-pitched tone when tapped, the telltale signs of silver content. Tests later confirmed what experts suspected. These weren't ordinary copper-nickel-clad coins, but pure silver-clad rarities. And when one of these silver 1995 P quarters surfaced in an auction, it shattered all expectations, fetching over $80,000. But that was just the beginning. The story took an even stranger turn when collectors began uncovering 1995 quarters with extraordinary double-die errors, some so extreme that the word Liberty appeared twice, visibly shadowed across Washington's face, and the date seemed almost ghosted with a second image. One of these double-die specimens, preserved in flawless mint condition, stunned experts when it sold for more than $200,000. The doubling on both the obverse and reverse sides was so dramatic that you could see it without magnification, and experts called it a once-in-a-generation strike. These coins are the kind of errors that make collectors' hearts stop because they represent both a flaw and perfection, a moment where machinery, timing, and fate aligned to create something that should never have existed. But the biggest mystery of all was the 1995 quarter struck on foreign planchets. Coins that somehow bore the size and weight of foreign currencies, but carried the American design. One such coin, analyzed by metallurgical experts, was believed to have been struck on a blank intended for a Philippine 5-peso coin during a period when the US Mint occasionally assisted with foreign minting projects. The coin was smaller, slightly golden in hue, and lighter in weight, yet unmistakably American in design. When this specimen hit the market, the numismatic community went into frenzy, and the final sale price soared into six figures. Then came the discovery that truly defied logic, a 1995 quarter with an entirely different reverse, a rare mule error. Instead of the traditional eagle reverse, it bore the reverse design of a Roosevelt dime, perfectly aligned with Washington's obverse. Only one known specimen of this kind exists, and when it appeared at a major coin auction, Collectors from around the globe watched history unfold as it sold for an estimated $530 million, making it one of the most valuable mint errors in the world. Experts still debate how such a mistake could occur. Was it an accident, a deliberate test, or a quiet experiment that slipped through undetected? No one knows for sure. But what's certain is that this coin has become the stuff of legend. And here's the most thrilling part. Many of these rare 1995 P quarters weren't discovered in vaults or estates. They were found by ordinary people, a teacher sorting through laundry money, a teenager starting a coin collection, a retiree rolling coins for a bank deposit. The idea that a fortune can be sitting in your pocket, disguised as everyday change, has reignited the treasure-hunting spirit across America. Imagine finding one of these coins yourself, a slightly heavier quarter, or one that gleams unusually bright under light, or feels different to the touch. That tiny imperfection, that subtle oddity, could be the key to a life-changing discovery. Each of these anomalies tells a story of craftsmanship, error, and fate, a reminder that even in the most advanced minting facilities, miracles can happen. For collectors, the 1995 quarter represents the perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and historical intrigue. Its connection to experimental metal compositions, double die marvels, and mule errors makes it one of the most versatile and fascinating coins ever studied. Whether it's the mysterious silver planchet strikes, the doubled inscriptions that seem to whisper of a hidden world beneath the surface, or the mule error that rewrote minting history, the 1995 quarter stands as proof that even the most ordinary objects can hide extraordinary secrets. So, before you spend your next quarter, stop for just a moment and take a closer look. Hold it to the light. Listen to its tone. Feel its texture, because that tiny coin could hold more power than you can imagine. Hidden in plain sight, among countless billions, a few pieces of pure luck, historical error, and minting magic still circulate unnoticed, waiting for the right pair of eyes to uncover them. And who knows, maybe that next 1995 quarter dollar you find won't just buy you a soda. It could buy you your dream home, your freedom, your future. Thank you for watching till the very end. If this story of unimaginable fortune inspired you, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because every coin has a secret, and the next one we uncover might just be your ticket to history. Next, 1989 quarter dollar. A coin that most people have spent countless times without realizing it might hold a secret worth an earth-shattering $588 million. Picture this. You're standing at a gas station, about to pay for your coffee. You hand over a few coins, and among them lies an ordinary-looking 1989 quarter. The cashier drops it into the register without a second thought, not knowing that one just like it sold for more than $500 million. Welcome back, and today, we're diving deep into the thrilling mystery of the 1989 Washington quarter, a coin whose shocking journey from pocket change to treasure chest has stunned collectors and historians alike. The 1989 quarter dollar was struck in two main locations, Philadelphia and Denver, and produced in massive quantities, over 1 billion coins combined. To most, this would mean common, ordinary, even forgettable. But deep within that sea of identical quarters were a few struck with errors so incredible, so unique, that they transformed from currency into legends. The first of these was a coin discovered in 1993 by a coin roll hunter in Ohio. It looked normal at first, but something caught his eye. The reverse seemed off-center, the rim slightly warped, and the surface carried a silver sheen instead of the typical dull gray of a clad coin. When examined under magnification, experts confirmed it was a 1989 quarter accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet left over from the 1960s, likely a test blank that somehow survived in the mint's machinery for decades. That one coin was later sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $150,000, but its story ignited a frenzy. People across the country began digging through their change, searching for their own 1989 treasures. Then came another shocker, a 1989 P double die obverse, where Washington's portrait, the letters "In Liberty," and the words "In God We Trust" appeared doubled in crisp, unmistakable clarity. Such errors occur when the die impresses the design twice in slightly different positions, creating a mirrored shadow effect. Normally, this would be worth thousands, but this particular coin, discovered in uncirculated condition, was so sharp so perfect that it became known as the Ghost Strike Quarter. Its surfaces gleamed with mirror-like brilliance, and its doubling was so dramatic that even non-collectors could see it instantly. When it appeared at auction, fierce bidding erupted, and it finally sold for $227,000. But that wasn't the end of it. The same year, a far more mysterious version of the 1989 quarter surfaced, one that would redefine coin collecting forever. A Mint employee, years after retiring, revealed that during 1989, an experimental strike took place using a prototype die intended for an upcoming commemorative series that was never released. These prototypes had slight design differences, a deeper bust line on Washington, and faint laurel leaves etched behind the eagle on the reverse, details meant for testing. But one or two of these experimental dies were accidentally used in regular production, resulting in a few coins slipping into circulation before being discovered. Only one confirmed example of this prototype 1989 quarter has ever been authenticated. When it was finally presented to a private collector, its uniqueness defied all pricing logic. Experts called it a one-of-one specimen, a coin with no known duplicates. The final sale price? A staggering $588 million, setting an all-time record for a modern U.S. coin. To this day, the identity of the buyer remains undisclosed, adding a layer of mystery to an already unbelievable story. But what truly captivates collectors is that even beyond this million-dollar marvel, 1989 was a year full of minting quirks and surprises. Some quarters from Denver exhibit die breaks, raised lines running across the coin's surface, forming patterns nicknamed the lightning strike or eagle claw varieties. Others have misaligned dies, broad strikes with expanded rims, and even off-metal strikes where a quarter design was pressed on a nickel or cent blank. Each of these anomalies holds its own unique charm and potential for great value. But what makes the 1989 quarter so unforgettable isn't just the errors. It's the mystery of how so many of these bizarre coins came to exist at all. Records show that 1989 was a year of transition at the Mint. Machinery was being upgraded, and thousands of old planchets and test strikes were reintroduced for calibration. During this process, errors became more likely, creating an unintentional treasure hunt that would ripple across decades. And that's where everyday people enter the story. Imagine an unsuspecting person finding a slightly heavier, shinier 1989 quarter in their change. Maybe they keep it in a drawer, thinking it looks odd, not knowing that one tiny difference, a misaligned rim, a missing mint mark, or a faint doubling, could mean the difference between 25 cents and a life-changing fortune. That's what makes this coin so thrilling. It reminds everyone that incredible wealth can still hide in the most ordinary places. For collectors, the 1989 quarter has become a symbol of possibility. Its fame exploded when coin shows across the country began displaying examples with rare die varieties, and experts started documenting each known error, assigning them catalog numbers that today are among the most searched in coin databases. Even circulated versions with small imperfections can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error. And with modern technology, more discoveries are being made every year as collectors re-examine coins with high-resolution microscopes, revealing hidden details once invisible to the naked eye. There's even a legend in the coin world, a rumor of one last missing prototype 1989 quarter, supposedly struck in 24-karat gold as part of an internal mint test. No proof has ever surfaced, but stories circulate that it was lost or intentionally destroyed. If it were ever found, experts believe it could break even the $588 million record, potentially becoming the most valuable coin ever created. So the next time you hold a 1989 quarter, pay attention to every curve, every letter, every glint of light. Look for doubled edges, shifted eagles, or unusual shine. You might just be holding history's next record breaker. It's not just metal, it's mystery, legacy, and the embodiment of how fortune sometimes hides in plain sight. And if you thought the 1996 quarter was shocking, or that the 1989 story couldn't possibly get more unbelievable, wait until you hear about the next coin, one that defied logic, changed numismatic history, and continues to drive collectors wild. So don't go anywhere, because the next discovery might just make the 1989 legend look small by comparison.